2 or 3. And but even then, again, 6 feet. It's just, I told you before we came on the air that Tim McMahon, the Helena Schools Activities Director, there's no way. There's so many people's shoes that I don't want to be in. Yours is one of them. The City County Health Department is one of them as well. At the end of the day, I think what you guys did for Helena and Lewis and Clark County was the best, because at least it's all about the kids. And that's the thing, is we want the kids to be able to have their season.
Talking to those kids. I think all of us across the state, the ADs made the decision above all else, our number one priority will be trying to ensure we at least get a chance to play.
What do you say to those parents that, you know, they told me publicly and privately the last couple of weeks, like, hey, we'll gladly sacrifice if that means the kids get a season, but now they're complaining because they can't go to the games?
I think it's an emotional response, and I get it. I'm a dad.
Sure.
I had 4 great kids. I watched one dance for 14 years and thought that was a wonderful thing. I watched another one play basketball through her senior year of high school. I think that was a wonderful thing. I think that at times, as parents, we have to keep in mind that first and foremost, it's about the memory for a child. It's really not a parent memory. It's a kid's memory. And trying to make sure the kid has a chance for that memory. But I do understand the emotion around it. I wanted to watch my kids play too, and watch my kids do the things that were important to them.
Tim McMahon, our guest here, a couple final questions because I know you're busy, but cheerleading, band, these are the ones that right now are suffering because they don't get to participate. Am I right on that? And that's a struggle too, because there's great kids that are cheerleaders in band and the such, and now they're the ones that kind of are suffering as well.
And I think everybody, in answer to that, when it comes to cheerleading and dance, that is part of the event or the activity itself. Helena, we're trying to figure out how can we include cheerleaders, how can we include dance into our activity, whether I have fans in the stands or not. Band is really, bands, the orchestras, the chorals, they're really hard because so much of what they do, just by the nature of it, is stuff you're not supposed to do. Let's be honest, in most of our band instruments, we actually have a spit valve.
Right.
And so we have to figure that piece out. A lot of their events, the MHSA end of it, have been canceled. And we're holding on that maybe second part of the year we'll be able to do some of those things. It's a bum deal all the way around. And, I've taken quite the hit, but on social media since March, but I've been saying, and it's okay to overreact. It's okay to still be concerned. And it's okay to want these games and understand that if they don't happen, there's a reason for it. There's people a lot smarter than me making these decisions. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an epidemiologist. How hard have these conversations been, Mr. McMahon, with students, with coaches, with the health department? They're all hard, and are hard for different reasons. As you said, I don't have the right letters behind my name to be making scientific decisions. I have to count on people who that's their life. When it gets to coaches, let me start with coaches, I guess. With coaches, there is always something you didn't think of, and it wakes people up in the middle of the night, and then they call me saying, well, what about this? It doesn't matter how much you plan. There is always something. And so that's that anxiety and stress of what did I forget. With kids, it's the very real fear that I won't even get a chance to play. We opened up in June to let kids do open gym workouts or open summer workouts. And you could see within 2 or 3 days a change in those kids. I go to practices every day. I attend practices. And it looks different this year to me. It feels different to me than it has in the past, where the feel with the kids is, I believe, they're happy to be here, really happy. They're always excited for the start of the new season.
Sure.
But now they're really excited.
That moment of uncertainty, though, can you see it in their eyes?
Oh, yeah. I see it in everyone's eyes. I think when I brush my teeth at night, I see it in my own. And I've taken to saying to people, I am certain of only one thing. I am certain that I am uncertain about most things. And that's really, you can see that you just don't know how this is going to end up from one day to the next.
Well, we saw Butte Central today is opting out and forfeiting their game at Hamilton Friday. I know AA has already moved a couple of weeks later into the season. This, and again, it goes back to, I don't want to be in your shoes, because we might be able to play all the season, which would be fantastic. We might only be able to get a game or two in before it's shut down. And to me, a lot of that's going to depend on the parents right now, based off of the decisions of visitation or having fans in the stands.
There's a lot of talk on social media about just showing up to these games anyway, but that's hurting the kids, I think, in the long run, because those games are going to get canceled and things are going to happen, and it's not good for the kids.
Yeah, and I would agree with you. I hope that in the end, people, you don't have to like the decision not to allow fans. I hope, though, that in the end, people will take a deep breath and realize the outcome of that could be really harmful for kids. It would be the one time, truly the one time, where I'd have to turn to kids and say, this isn't an uncontrollable situation. COVID shutdowns are uncontrollable. Mm-hmm. If it was a shutdown for something like that, it's completely controllable. And that's, I think, what I hope everybody in the end realizes. We have to control what we can to do everything we can to allow these kids to have their opportunities.
Well, I know
the things we can't control, we can't control those.
No, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, there's so many of us that are in media that are, we want these seasons because it's our livelihoods, but we want the kids to be safe too. And I know you mm-hmm. First and foremost, that's the thing, Tim, is that everybody's doing what's best for the kids, and if that means pulling the seasons out because of health, then you guys have to do it. And I applaud every decision that you guys are making with strategy. You guys are you're not just waking up one morning and going, you know what, screw it, we're not going to have football today.
Yeah, it's been a process really that began last March mm-hmm. when the first shutdowns occurred, and it was planning for the spring. Well, if we go to here, what can we do, and how can we change the schedule, and how can we make this work? Well, if we get to this week, then what? And then ultimately, when that came to be, where it was just canceled for good, I think the ADs in general across the AA took soccer on Saturday yep. At Nelson Stadium. We're going to play them, and we're stacking up 4 games. JV boys at 9,